Hello students, welcome to another module of revision series. Now we are going to learn about functions. Functions are broadly classified into inbuilt functions and user-defined functions. Inbuilt functions are those functions which are readily available with Python and they are stored in Python libraries. Functions like len, float, print are inbuilt functions. User-defined functions are the functions defined by the programmer. Modules. Modules are nothing but Python programs with .py extension. These programs will not contain entire program. This will be containing only modules. We will write many functions together in these files and will save them with .py extension. Now you can import this file into any program you want and you can use the functions defined in it. Look into this example. Module.py is a program I made just having two functions. One function is to calculate sum and the other function is to calculate the difference between two variables. I haven't called this function in that program. I just have defined these two functions and saved it with the extension .py. Now when I have a ready-made module available which is created by me, I am going to use this module in one of my programs. So in my program, I have accessed this module with the keyword import. Import module will bring this entire file to my program. Then I have called the function sum from this module by using the program name, that is module.sum. So this accessed the sum function from this py file. So like that, I also accessed a sub function. In this way, you can make your own modules and save it in your Python library. Now we will talk about user-defined function. User-defined functions are a block of statements written under function prototype and they can be called at any time you want. This will help you to break your program into smaller units and it will also increase the readability of your program. And you can call this function as many times you want in a program. You can declare a function using the syntax def, function name and the arguments to be passed in the bracket and then the block of statements. How to call a user-defined function? For calling a user-defined function, you have to just write the name of the function and pass the arguments to the function separated by comma. Now the syntax def means the function is or function prototype starts here and the function name must be an identifier. It should follow all the rules of an identifier and parameters are the values that we have to pass to the function so that the function can execute and provide you a result. A colon is given at the end of function definition to indicate that block of the statement what is you have written below will belong to the function. And return statement is optional. If you have any value to return, you can use return statement. If your function is not returning anything, the function will be returning none. Now let us see an example. Def sum a comma b, c equal to a plus b, return c. So here this function is calculating sum of two arguments a and b and returning the result to the caller. Now see my main program starts from here. In a print statement, inside a print statement, I am calling this function with values 4 and 5. So this 4 will be copied into a and 5 will be copied into b. And this function will produce 5 plus 4, that is 9, and that value will be returned to this statement. So the output printed by this print statement is 9. And when I call the same function with different set of values and this time I am assigning the result to another variable. Now 20 will be assigned to A and 8 will be assigned to B and 20 plus 8, 28 is returned to X. Now when I print the value X, I will get 28 in output. Arguments and parameters. Data passed to functions are called arguments. So arguments are the values or variables that appears in a function call. They are also called actual arguments and actual parameters. Parameters are the variables which appear in a function definition. They are also called formal parameters and formal arguments. Now, how we can pass arguments? There are different methods to pass the arguments. We can pass the arguments by as positional arguments, default arguments, and keyword arguments. Positional arguments. When we when we pass arguments to a function, the argument list in the function call should match with the argument list in the function prototype because they are assigned sequentially. So you cannot mismatch the argument list. For example, if you are passing two arguments to a power calculating function, 8 raised to 2, if you want to calculate 8 raised to 2, you must pass 8 first and then 2. If you want to calculate positional arguments, when we pass arguments to a function, the argument list in the function call should match with the argument list in the function prototype because they are assigned sequentially. So you cannot mismatch the argument list. For example, if you are passing two arguments to a power calculating function, 8 raised to 2, if you want to calculate 8 raised to 2, you must pass 8 first and then 2. If you want to calculate 2 raised to 8, then you have to pass 2 first and then 8. If you want to calculate 2 raised to 8, then you have to pass. If you want to calculate 2 raised to 8, then you have to pass 2 first and 8 second. So the position of the argument have a very so the position of the argument must match with each other. Keyword arguments. We can use the argument list which we have declared in a function definition in function call too. We can assign values to this arguments in a function call. This is called keyword arguments. If you are using keyword arguments in a function call, you need not to worry about the position of these variables in the function definition. Keyword arguments can be given as function name, inside the bracket, keyword, then value, comma keyword, then value, and so on. After the keyword argument, you cannot give any positional argument. If you have any positional argument, that has to be given before the keyword arguments. See the example. Here I have a function, and in the function I am receiving two values a and b, and the function inside the function a is incremented by 10 and b is incremented by 20. Now I am printing the new values of a and b inside the function and just returning to the function call. Now I have called this function with keyword arguments. Here I am not following the order because if you are using keywords in a function call, you need not to follow the order. I have used B first, then A. So it doesn't make any change because this is keyword arguments. It can follow any order. And then I am receiving two values in X and Y during the execution. And now I am passing these arguments as the keyword value. So keyword arguments can be values and variables. So instead of values, here I am passing variables. Default arguments. If you want to give any default value to a function definition, that also can be provided. The advantage of this is that if sometimes if you don't want to pass all the arguments, you can miss out the default argument. Function will work perfectly with the default argument provided in the function definition. Example is given here. Here for A and B, I have given default argument. Default argument is assigned in the function definition using equal to symbols. And you can call the function without any argument. I haven't passed a or b here. So the function has used 20 and 30 to calculate the value. In case I am passing some values like some 10 comma 20, then 10 will be copied into a and 20 will be copied into b. Okay, then this 20 and 30 will not be used for calculation. Points to remember: keyword arguments must follow positional arguments. Having positional argument after keyword argument will result error. Non-default arguments cannot follow default arguments. In a function, if you have default argument, it should be positioned at the right end. So if you are positioning the default argument somewhere in the middle, it will cause error. Cannot use a value for an argument more than one. Keyword argument cannot be used more than once. A is equal to 10 comma a is equal to 20, you cannot write. A keyword argument can be given only once. Now return statement. Return statement is used to return values back to the calling function. So example is given: def function a comma b return a plus b. Here operators can be given, variables also can be given. So I am making a function call with the values 5 and 6. 5 will be copied into a, 6 will be copied into b, and it will be providing a result into x, and x can be printed. Now return statement can return multiple values. These values are returned normally in tuple format. Here in this example, you can see that I am returning two values, a plus b and a minus b. So I have made two function calls here so that you can get a better understanding. Here I am calling this function with two different arguments, since this function is returning with two values. X comma y equal to function 5 comma 6. So the first argument will go into x and the second argument will go into y. That's why I have received output like x equal to 1 and y equal to minus 1. X equal to 11 and y equal to minus 1. Now when I call this function with 5 and 6 and assign it to a single variable, since this function is returning two values, a tuple will be assigned to p. The type of the variable p will be tuple. So the output is p equal to 11 comma minus 1. I think all of you are clear about the subject function. Now this is the end of the series. I think all of you will do great in your coming exams. All the best.